The first order of business is the minutes from last month's meeting, and I'm sure Dave has a lot of comments on those. No. It was really funny because I wasn't at the one before, and I did have, you know. Okay, anybody have any questions, additions, corrections, changes? Okay, can I get a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll motion to accept the minutes.
Motions, can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dave. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so we got 5-0. So that'll be one agenda item for Carroll County planning updates.
So we had a couple updates.
Okay.
Some major ones, probably the major one is, there was some departmental reorganization. I don't know if some of you know, but our director, or former director, Linda, she went to Howard County, so we made a number of, we've been being overseen by the previous director, Chris, who was the director for land and resource upstairs. He was put in as interim director, and the county commissioners voted to combine his
Okay.
and the planning department. So we're now the Department of Planning and Land Resource Management, PLM.
So the county saved some money.
Yeah, maybe.
Hopefully they gave him a raise because he's doing 2 jobs, but probably not.
What's the Department of?
It's the Department of Land and, sorry, Department of Planning and Land Management.
Oh, not land resource
Yeah,
management.
I got rid of the resource.
Okay.
Planning and Land Management.
Could I ask you to just send a brief note about that? Because obviously we want to make sure that gets in our minutes. That way we'll be sure to get the wording right. Yeah. You know, first names, last names, and then the correct titles. Thanks.
Okay. And our transportation master plan has been completed. It's being looked over by the department for any final touches, but it's going to be, it's set to be reviewed by the planning commission.
Okay.
In October. Yeah. So.
You can just put a brief bullet also of that in the minutes. Okay, great.
Yeah, because that would be useful.
Yep. Yes. Good.
And, last couple of things, there's gonna be no fall maintenance cycle for the water and sewer master plan. However, a spring amendment is likely. And then Maryland CTP pre-tour is scheduled for Thursday, October 5th. I believe I sent you an email about that.
What is that? See,
It's the
Oh,
state
yeah.
pre-tour.
yes, that's it.
So that-
Yes.
That is usually the pre-tour is staff level, and then tour is when usually mayors and sometimes council members come. But I know Gary's been there every year, and usually his big thing is obviously the Main Street revitalization, usually the one talking point he has for pre-tour when he speaks. So, but that's coming up next Thursday. It's Zoom, so you might, relay to talk with Gary, if there's anything that planning commission has on their mind pertaining to transportation in the Windsor area.
And it's called the Tour of
It's just called pre-tour.
Pre-Tour.
And Mark, you should have got that email.
Yeah, I did get that, and I did get that, and I did not forward to everybody. I just assumed we would have an update here, but that's fine. Yeah, I'll forward that to everybody.
Okay.
Absolutely not a problem.
Those are the major updates. There's an economic development and land use study, which is still going on, and we're in the final stages of that. Drew, who's taking lead on that, sent his final document to the consultants for review, so that's going well. And me and him are in the process of doing the rural village study, where we're going out to different rural villages and seeing what the land use is, seeing the change. So yeah, that's all the updates.
Okay.
So, yeah, reasonable. He's obviously the liaison. This will be my last meeting. Yeah, so wanted to let Randolph move forward and give the update. And yeah, dealing with the rural villages, that's something we started before the pandemic, so 3 years ago. Everyone looked at it, and that's what we're looking at doing is look at the rural villages as a whole. And as we do our new comp plan coming up in 24, 25, looking to see if there's, if there's rural villages, Senate line, or some of the bigger ones that they have a section pertaining to rural villages in Pleasant Valley, in the comp plan. Obviously talking about all of them, but maybe looking at some that are larger, Pleasant Valley, Vermont Valley, I know a lot more than that, I can't think of it now, that are, sort of bigger crossroads. And going back to the reorganization, or how you wanna call it, or consolidation, yeah, nothing's changing, no roles are ever changing at all, planning still doing sort of what we've been doing. They are in the process of, they just put an ad out last week for a deputy director that's gonna oversee planning and zoning. And that'll probably unofficially be considered called the Office of Planning and Zoning, but that person will focus mostly on the planning and zoning side, as well as, help our director, that's the position will be. And then Mary Lane, who has been the planning manager, is now just called the bureau chief, and we are now called the Bureau of Comprehensive Planning. Who's getting the old names, new names, and everything else.
Well, we appreciate that, Bryce, that you came back to New Windsor and that you stuck around to show Randolph the ropes and made sure he was up to speed before you departed. We know you were double duty, and then we certainly here in New Windsor appreciate that.
Certainly appreciate it. We normally have not gotten that, so that's really helpful. Yeah. But I do recall the last time I was sitting here, and I think you had an assignment. So now with this reorganization, maybe, unless you have something for us?
Yes.
Great, good, because,
So there's two things that you guys, or that the commission needed. There was a breakdown of the historical sites, we were comparing that.
oh,
to
okay,
our
yeah.
database.
No, I was thinking though about the organization, your
Right,
group.
yeah, that's-
Okay, you've got that too. Okay, good,
You
okay.
want that right now, or?
No, right now would be fine, because I'm not sure, I don't know everybody that's there.
So that's a breakdown of, our different staff and.
Okay,
what their,
okay.
Roles are,
Okay,
and then.
you have copies for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, good, okay. Thank you. Good. And this is current with the
And that is-
changes?
Yeah, that is just the planning department. We did,
Okay.
with the
Commissioners,
changes,
how
we
the
can
commissioners relate to it.
forward you
Okay.
the
Thanks,
other
Randolph. Appreciate it.
part of our
And then
department
this is
now.
for,
So we-
how the commissioners kind of relate to what we do.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
Resource management, and zoning, we can do that too, so we can get the players of who they are. So this is one of those things where the assignment was provided before we even knew we were
Sure.
combining, you and thought we probably would be. So that's just the planning side of it. In essence, sort of what the planning commission does, I think these players are actually pretty good. It gives you, who does, Hannah Weber does the rezoning and,
Yep.
Your friend helped me make decisions now, so I'm the water and sewer person. I
Okay,
have been, I don't see that going away anytime soon. So, and so all the different expertise of what people do and that kind of thing. So I'm sure this will probably update a little bit once we get our deputy director in, and also just to make sure any of the things that have been completed, which when I looked at it a minute ago earlier, I realized the ag preservation concept team, that's been done for 2 years now, and all that.
This was a breakdown of the historical sites.
Thanks.
So that's what
Thank you.
what we got, but if you'd like the other players in the land management side, development review side, we get that for you also.
This is awesome. This was actually more than I was expecting. I thought I'd take a bunch of notes. That's great. Thank you. So Mary Lane is still there.
Yes, she was considered, even though it says
Okay.
planning manager
Right.
there, everything else that was sent out that says bureau chief, so I'm
Yeah.
calling her bureau chief.
So, but she'll be reporting up to.
Correct, she'll be reporting to the new deputy director, whoever that.
Deputy.
Then that deputy director will report to Chris Hine, who is the director of planning and land management.
Say again?
Chris
Hein?
Hine, H-E-Y-N.
And that would, again, that, if I could get those in the bullets, because that'll be good, so we get the spelling correct. Chris Hein, okay. Cool. So if they're saving the position, that dollar saving should be spread over everybody. Because it's not just Chris taking on double duty. Okay, good, thank you. Good, okay. Joe, I don't know the others, okay. Well, you'll be missed. You've been with us for a while.
So we'll see you along sooner or later.
I think you started coming to us just before COVID or right after?
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember, there's me for a little bit, and then, yeah, somebody then, I did begin at Arcos for a while, to do that.
We had Abigail,
And then Abigail.
yeah,
See that?
So-
yeah.
so, yeah.
So it seems to me you're the reason why others are moving on and getting a good increase because of what you've been able to provide them. So take that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. All righty. Picking up where we left off, and I don't know if anybody could feel or smell the ocean, but we're getting close to the beach. We're getting close to the end. You can smell the salt water. Were you able to watch last month and be able to pick up enough of what we
About
were?
50%,
About 50%.
yeah.
What, was it too quiet? You couldn't hear others speaking?
Yeah, the audio was a bit, so it's going slowly, but I'm getting there.
So help us with that. Could you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, it was the people in the audience.
Okay, that would be you guys, because there's not very much else, yeah, okay. Well, that's helpful to know that,
Yeah.
because what I've been told, because I'm usually here,
Yeah,
even with the planning commission, I
Yeah.
never really want, that these were sensitive enough to be able to at least pick up the close people.
yeah,
So that's good, okay, thanks. So, well, hopefully some of this information, you got one of these, right?
yes,
Yeah, okay, good, because I know this fits in.
yeah, no, even when I put my TV volume up to 100.
Right, 200.
Wow.
Yes.
When I first started working, everything was manual. I go back to the days when we were helping people convert to computers. So everything was a handwritten worksheet. And when I would turn something in and it didn't have a date and the name of who prepared it, it would get tossed back at me. So a bit of advice when you do, because these all start to look the same after a while. So it's a good practice to get into, whether it's a computer printed something, but to have a date on there and a name. Because when there's a question, now I know to come back to you with this. But just a little thing, I do this at work all the time with people, whether they're younger or older. And I don't toss it back like I used to have, but I still bring that up. Okey doke. So 147 is where we are kicking off next, community involvement. And of what we've had to read through and review over the past months, I think this was relatively easy to go through and read and have comments. Or am I the only one that felt that? Because I can smell the beach. I thought there was, okay. I'm not getting any feedback, so I guess not. Okay. So, I didn't feel like, I didn't really, within reading through under the goals, I don't really see the connection and the changes, any changes in there. Did anybody see anything that?
When because I read through it and it was very dry for me. And I kind of had to struggle to get through it, but I didn't see where there's a lot of differences that we would need to make.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I don't know about all the stuff that they're saying they appoint to, whether all those commissions and things like that still exist. That's all the different boards and stuff that they mention in here.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's still a Board of Commissioners.
Well, no, yeah, but it says,
Planning and Zoning Commission, Board of Zoning Appeals. That's a good point. I didn't go out there, actually, out there and look online to see if they still exist.
that's the only question I had. Do all of these, that they appoint to, and it's a great list, but do we have to be that exhaustive?
D, does the town actually have a board of zoning appeals, or is it just,
That's county, isn't it, the BZA?
Well, the town has a BZA.
it's, what's the guy, Mark, not Mark, who's the new zoning? Bill. Bill's new.
zoning
But this-
administrator, but BZA is a little different, isn't it?
Yeah, we have a board
There
that,
is a board within
Yes.
it, okay.
only gets convened when necessary, and they will hear, something that Bill could bring to the BZA, yes.
Bill Sheen, he was with us for a while. But do they, the local BZA then, they interact with the county?
I don't know that that's the case. I have not seen that happen.
Is that something I should flag to Michelle, or?
Let me take one to see if there's any, I don't feel like it hurt anything having these in here.
Okay.
Because especially when it's talking about community involvement.
These, I took these as, these are county,
Yes,
all these.
yes, yes,
Okay.
these are all county.
These are all county things, and whether they're all still existent, I don't know. But they're all county things, and, New Windsor has a handful of their own, But I don't believe that there's interaction between them and.
My initial thought was, instead of having all the words, was to have like a flow chart. Then I started thinking that might even be more complicated. And just have these here. I didn't really think of it as dry, but I can see your point.
I will never argue with an illustration or anything to make something easier to comprehend.
I will see what I can find on the county site with
Okay.
these, because that's normally what you would have instead of all these words. It just, as anything with government, the titles, the names tend to be so long, then it's hard, but I will take that on and look.
Looking at this quickly, all the boards appear to be still active. The one that I would need to verify is the Environmental Affairs Advisory Board. We actually now have a environmental advisory council, the EAC. I'm not sure if that's the one, if they just changed the name, if that's one of the same.
Just make it Environmental Advisory Council and take that out and we'll be fine. 'Cause it's not, we're not saying this is inclusive, we're just saying it includes these.
Right.
I guess my thought process is this is community development, community involvement. And this is the New Windsor Comprehensive Plan. And we should be talking about the citizens' ability to be involved in the things in New Windsor, not the things at the county level. In our comprehensive plan.
Well, I think it does. It's just adding extra.
My thought on this is the county, and then we start talking more, because it's like when we, months ago, were talking about having a vision statement. It's like, what's the bigger picture of what we're looking at, and then how do we bring that back down? But you are right, that we just jump right into saying what the county has. So you're suggesting that we,
Well, I'm not opposed to telling citizens that there's a whole bunch of stuff at the county level that they're more than, capable and willing or whatever they want to participate in. But, the meat and potatoes of this thing should be New Windsor stuff.
Yeah, I think we should start hyper-local and then start escalating. So what can we do at the immediate level, and then if there's not things to do at the immediate level, then what can we do at the next stair step up?
Then in that regard, with this heading as goals, the whole starting with the Carroll County Board of Commissioners points really doesn't belong there. 'Cause it's not really a goal. It could be in a summary at the end, where you say, along with the opportunities in New Windsor, the county provides the following opportunities for people who want to do more.
well, it really doesn't go and say this is what it has. It's just, in following that context about citizen participation, it says it appoints qualified citizens to numerous boards and commissions. Then when we get to the town, we talk about how we're appointed.
Yes, yeah.
And then, of course, under the current conditions here, it does talk about the opportunities. I think there's more that we can add to that. I was going to look at the camera. It's moving? Ooh,
So maybe we're on.
so maybe we are on.
We're on.
Well, I mean, I do see this lit, which made me think it was, but we'll see.
But they're always lit now.
Yeah, they're always lit, okay.
Yes.
So, glad I didn't say anything. But, this chapter in several places talks about the difficulty of getting citizens involved. One way is, of course, when there are appointments, but normally the appointments, and I'm thinking, looking around here, everybody that's been appointed is in some way or another, somebody on the council had some interaction, and then, oh, okay, well, here's a way you can come. But it really almost always begins with the citizens coming and stepping forward. And about the most basic is attending the meetings to find out what is going on. It's how you got into this. And then you actually kind of volunteered and, all of us. But if you don't come to the meetings, don't express an interest or a concern, then it's kind of difficult to know. And so we do have, as mentioned in here, Facebook. We do have the board, which is really old school. But I know I watch people walk over here and look at the board. Frankly, I've done that when I can't find the newsletter. I want to come over here and find out when bulk trash is. That is old school. But, we do have Facebook. We do have the website. And there is a newsletter that goes out. I don't know if the newsletter doesn't go out electronically, does it? I think it's just hard copy.
Yeah, it's mailed. We still get it.
It's just mailed.
Yeah, I don't think it's,
There is a way to get it electronically, but it's a multi-step process and unreliable.
and you can get it off the website.
Yeah.
Yeah, but actually when it goes out each month, it's still mailed. So what's the pleasure about this first one, this first section here? I mean, it's got the two goals, and then it rolls into citizen participation. But, right, it's not exactly targeted at New Windsor. It's talking about, there are opportunities in the big picture of the county. It's not until we get to the next section where there's
We
discussion.
talk about the town.
I mean, the information is not inaccurate. And I guess whether we start local and move, up to the county, or we start with the county and move to the, into the local, I guess it's not a huge deal, which way it goes, because the information is, basically correct, so.
So do we want to leave it as is? Except for that Environmental Affairs Advisory Board?
I mean, I would think that what we could do is we could just, the information's correct, let's just walk through the information. And when that chapter is complete, Emily Ann may have a thought process of flipping it on its lid so that New Windsor is first and we march out to the county. Or it may make more sense to start, the county and say these are high-level things and then get into the nuts and bolts. And then maybe we'll see that as we go through the information.
Yeah, I'm happy to restructure it and, if y'all or whatever non-gendered want to walk through the information and make sure it's accurate, and then I'm happy to take a pass at restructuring it and even diagramming it in a way to make it logical or whatever.
The message is that there are opportunities.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to the town where there are some appointments. I don't think this was ever meant to be exhaustive, but it does talk about areas where the planning commissioners do citizen appointments. And it lists 7, 8 of these different items, and I know there are other areas that we could go out to that aren't listed here, but I didn't feel like it hurt, but I don't like all the words. I would have preferred a chart, or even if it was a bulleted listing, but just all the words.
Yeah. As long as the information's there, I'm happy to take an editorial pass.
Okay, you got it. Next page, 148.
And this does the same thing, goes from local up.
What I didn't look at was the structure of this chapter, because that beginning talks about in the county. And now in the current conditions, it's government structure, citizen participation opportunities. And it goes and follows up on the different areas that are mentioned under the town. The advisory committee, information and services. I don't think that's too bad structure. I was going to suggest a note under the first paragraph where it talks about the town council. They serve for a 4-year term with 3 members up for election every 2 years, because it's not everybody serving concurrently.
That would be, I think that's good to add.
Well, 3 are up in every 2 years, and then the following 2 years, 2 are up in the mayor's position.
Well, that's why I think 3 positions. Yeah, I know,
So,
yes.
yes,
And-
3 positions if you include the mayor.
Yes, yes.
So that's true.
That wisely. You tapped around that a little bit, that's good wording.
What the heck congressional district are we in now? That's what I saw online, and that's Jamie Raskin. But when I went out there and looked at another chart, it shows us in the third, which is, and so
Oh, yes, we are,
with the redistricting that happened, and now because we're close to the border of 8
yes,
and
we
3.
are Baltimore, the
Yep,
yes.
yes. So it's, oh gosh, it's a good old family name too.
Yeah.
Sarbanes. Yeah,
Yes.
Sarbanes is, my real question on that. Well, first off, I know we are not in the 6th any longer. Because that was the one that was Bartlett, I think, that
Yes.
was, my God, it was a huge one all over the place. And I know the redistricting, so I saw, it said 8 when I Googled New Windsor. But I didn't remember seeing Raskin on the ballot, but I did remember Sarbanes, which surprised me because, we used to have a state senator, Paul. So this is his son, but I think I bring it up as A, because that's gotta be corrected, and B, does anybody see the value of putting any names in there?
No, I
No, okay.
wouldn't.
No, we don't want to do that
I
because.
wouldn't.
Shook your head
You know
off there.
what I would do? I would just put a link to find your congressional district.
Okay, can you do that?
Yeah.
Good luck with that, but yeah.
No, I would
So I clicked on that
actually
link.
just put
One
like a
city.
hyperlink to find your congressional district. I wouldn't even say this is your congressional district. I would just put like a hyperlink to find your congressional district, because that way it would always be accurate.
Good
So it
point.
takes them to the search point to
Yeah.
look for it, so they have to do the input. It doesn't take them to what we thought our district might be.
Yeah.
Good point.
Well, except for hard copy documents.
Yeah.
Yes.
But who's got, well, I guess anybody that's on the town council would print it, but
Neil will know. Yeah, I'll find out. But for now, put in third, because I think that's where it ended up. Because I was surprised when I first Googled it and saw Jamie Raskin, because I would have remembered him.
So I think having
Dutch
the hyperlink,
Rossberger,
Yeah.
District 2.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
Dutch.
sorry, I got it all wrong. I saw it in 3 spots, and then Dutch.
I just got
Yes,
an email from
'cause I
Dutch.
thought with Dutch, yes. It's Dutch, yep,
He
it's
just
Dutch.
sent me an email today, as a matter of fact.
So there were 3 of them, that's right, thank you, because it was just before I got over here. That's why I was actually late, because I thought this would be an easy one, and I went back, and you're right. Absolutely, because I got Dutch right there. So we're here in the second. There you go. But they're all, if you go out Google, you're gonna see this all over the place. Okay, good. So I think I heard nobody has any interest in names, okay?
I think if you do put the link in there, that will take you to, so
Yeah.
you can, to find your latest, to find the most accurate, whatever.
Or how about the link for you to find out who the current representative, yeah.
It changes so much. We changed 3 times in the last 5 minutes.
That's right. Yeah, because when we would have done this, we would not have had Senator Cardin for sure. He would have been the junior senator. Okay. And I think we determined very early on that we are the Town Planning and Zoning Commission. Michelle corrected me on that, still bruised.
We don't meet on Tuesdays anymore.
Correct. I don't know when, we meet on the 4th Monday
Yeah.
of the month. And I do believe a new paragraph should start with when it has the duty of the zoning administrator. That's like the second sentence from the end. And actually, the zoning administrator is also appointed by the mayor and the council.
Let's add that.
Yep. I'm going to ask the question. I think I know the answer, but does anybody see any value to have the names?
Well, I don't like to put names in these because we change.
They automatically
These
become
things
obsolete.
are, you know, around for 15 years and are, you know, the administrator may change 3 times and we would never be able to keep up with making changes, you know, to keep it accurate. So I don't,
Yeah, I think when you add names to
I think
it,
that, you know, maybe something in the front of the document that says, you know, go to the town website or something to see the current list of, you know, the folks in those positions and all these positions.
It's all listed on a newsletter every month too. Council, mayor, planning commission.
so you could add a final sentence at the end that says the current members of the planning commission are listed on the website, town website, and in the newsletter.
I think we're better off doing that, and then it's at least
Yeah, I
more
agree.
accurate
Yep.
than having old names in here.
Yeah.
And dating it.
Really minor point, but my guess is you'll catch this when you put it together. But on the hard copy we have here, because I mulled over this for a long time and then realized that the heading is on the page before. But what begins at the top of 149 is actually talking about the Carroll County Planning and Zoning.
Right.
Yeah. And
Okay, you've lost me.
sure. Yeah. This is the heading, but you know, when I came out of here and I went right over to here, didn't even notice this in here. So this heading, this would need to stay with this, that's all.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make
Yeah.
sure that all of
Yeah.
these headings.
Well, hopefully we'll
Yeah.
also have an eye on that because at the
Yeah.
end, you know, we'll get this one,
Okay.
but yeah. Like I said, it's picky, it's small.
So Price, I don't know how the Carroll County Planning and Zoning Commission members are appointed. They're appointed by the commissioners, and they just come up with a list and they vote. And so there is opportunities for someone like Mark, who was the chairman of the New Windsor Planning Commission, to get in front of them and get on there, on the next level planning commission if he so desired. And I don't know, you know, what
They
they're,
put- Yeah, they put out,
they put out a call or something?
a lot of times they do, and I mean, I know at this point in time, there was a call for pretty much a lot of the commissions that the county has, so. Not only planning and zoning, but yes, they do put a call out. Because at one point in time, recently, we were down a couple, and we took a while to get.
So how is that, I mean, maybe that would be information that would be helpful. You know, where would Glenn find out that there was a call for planning commission at the county level? Well, how does,
Sort of, I mean, I know they put stuff on the website, on the main page of the website. I think there may be a general citizen involvement or commission involvement link. You just click on that, and it gives you all the commissions, but also if there's an opening for any of them, then there's a way to like go out and
See, this fits in with the whole thing about coming to meetings, attending, getting some idea of what's going on. I've never been to a Carroll County Planning Commission meeting, so, you know, they're not aware of me, I'm not aware of them.
right.
So it's, if I have some kind of an interest somewhere or another, I gotta either reach out by occasionally going to a commissioners meeting, and I'm sure things will get discussed. I'm sure the planning commissioners will in some way interact, but.
There's two New Windsor residents on the planning commission now.
There are.
Matt Bale, who's the chairman, I believe, and he's still the chairman.
Yeah, he's on easy.
And then, and Matt Huff also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You got two New Windsor people on it right now, anyway.
First thing I did when I moved to Carroll County was subscribe to the county commissioners newsletter and start getting all of the things for how to get involved. But as a point of order, is this level of detail necessary for the comprehensive plan?
I think that fits into when we start getting into actions,
Okay,
that we probably, should, as a recommendation could be, to be more proactive in putting resources for where people could go to, essentially, to put the water basin out there and say, okay, here's where you can come drink from it.
okay.
And I'm not exactly sure how to do that. And it could be, you know, periodically something put in the newsletter. It could be something periodically put on Facebook page. I don't know. But I think that, I have that as a note. I think that's a reasonable thing that we should have somewhere down the line. We can certainly have it put in here, just like we're talking about having the links to click on.
Mhm.
But yeah, how did any of us get involved in any way? It's not like we just all of a sudden had Neil come and appoint any of us. In some way or another, we took the initiative to get involved in some way. And that's the conundrum always in government. How do you get people involved? Except when there's a problem, then you will have people involved.
But I think that's maybe, like you said, in the actions, and I think, you know, the action could be for the town to publish those kind of things in the newsletter, like you said.
Provide links on our website that people can go to, how to get involved.
The town needs a TikTok, that's what it is.
Then you need a TikTok administrator, and that's even scarier.
I volunteer as a tribute.
I would think we'd also change on this one where they're talking about when the meetings are held, and just say something like, information on meetings is available on the county website, so that we don't have to say it's the fourth Tuesday, third Monday, second Friday. Because it's gonna change.
I am on, I am so much not one of those people that goes looking for the links and stuff. I think it's gonna have to be a combination of saying some of the obvious, but also, again, showing, having the trough somewhere that we help.
I agree, but the issue with the meetings is they're gonna change. No matter what we put in here, it's gonna be obsolete.
You know, for the most part,
Yeah.
you know, our town council has been on first Wednesday of every month. I've been on this for, 18 years, and we've always met on Monday nights, the fourth Monday of the month.
Because it said we started on Tuesdays.
You know, I thought that was really interesting. Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so I think we missed that last time. I think we clearly did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as long as I've been part, I've never been on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But you're right, but a lot of this we have in here could also change, so, you know.
It's true.
But I'm not locked into pulling it out.
To be frank, most of the time, this is never read by any citizens.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
the place where they're gonna go to find the information is maybe what we say in our actions, that the town does something. People are not gonna come and pick up the comprehensive plan to find out when the Carroll County meeting is not gonna happen. Sorry.
You're absolutely correct. 100%.
I do believe this is true, that once we complete this, there is a public hearing for the community.
Yeah, it has to go before the
Council.
council and then get approved, and then there would be a, yes.
A 60-day review.
Yes.
Then it goes out to a whole bunch of entities.
So we still say, to jump back but we still have this Article 66B that we say, and
That's still,
Yeah, that, I'm sure, I think, in the past, I know Michelle has said,
it's not the latest or something?
yeah, that is, I believe that Article 66B, yeah, I think the annotated code has changed. So there may not even be an Article 66B anymore.
Yeah, I had that really on page 4 when we first started going through this
Yeah,
document.
or
I had,
saying, you know, multi-county mentioned, that's not Article XYZ anymore,
right,
so.
we need to tag that 66B at some point, and whatever the heck it really is today, what it's called.
Maybe anywhere that has an Article XYZ, make sure that's doing.
so you have in your notes that changed? Because
Yes.
Article 6B is the really old one that set all this up.
I had Article 66B, I have a note that says, change, it's not the latest.
Okay.
And I have it highlighted in several places there on page 4. And I think I've been underlining it and stuff throughout this document, but I don't see anywhere where, Michelle said
Yeah, it
what
may be
the,
that whatever 66B is, the language is probably relatively the same, just the article.
Right.
have changed.
So could we just say the annotated code of Maryland mandates?
Let me see if I can find what it's updated to.
Still there. Or 27 pages, no thanks. So,
Replaced with the land use article, but it doesn't say what it points to.
Page 5 under 2, it says that,
It just says it's gonna replace with the land use article.
it said that Article 66B has been amended. So whatever it is, it's been in effect since 1992.
yeah, with the Maryland Economic Growth thing, the Planning
Land
Act.
use
but it-
article, let's see what it is. Land use, oh good lord, it's exceptionally long. It's exceptionally long. Many, many statutes. It's long. There's a lot of citations.
Once we probably have verified with Michelle, make sure.
yeah, we can
How
talk
we
to
should say
Michelle and
this.
get what it,
Michelle's gonna have to.
tell us what we should call it, and then
Yeah,
you'll have to do
land
the,
use article, the citations are extensive.
okay.
I think the land use article would probably just be the shortest way to refer to it. Section 1:101 to 11:209 is basically how it's coming up in my case law.
Keep it there. All right. So that'll have a flag,
Yes,
as it has in many places,
yes.
for what we're gonna call that. It's funny, I had that note, because I wish Drew was here, because the thing we went to, I think it was last December, might even been 2 Decembers ago now, that was a webinar that took place by the state planning, and they talked about doing these comprehensive plans, and they talked about Article 44, was 66B, and how that's been changed, it's been amended and adjusted over the years. And then that's what my note had on there, but you're right, that Land Use Act, I know that Michelle has referenced that, maybe that's the correct term to use, I don't know. I didn't do a good job of that. I think it was the early days, we figured you were gonna be scribing all that, you would just magically have all that happen. So, yeah, yeah.
The land use article, I think, is probably the best shorthand, but I'll check with her.
Probably at the very beginning, probably have to say something about, in the annotated code, whatever, the long, yeah, okay. So assuming what's gonna be the Land Use Act, or whatever it'll be, under the planning process, mandates the planning commission develop and approve a comprehensive plan, and recommend it to the local legislative body. And instead of saying to the local legislative body, I think we say to the local legislative body, maybe comma, town council, or just to the town council, but I don't know why it needs to.
Yeah.
Town council should be in there, that's something people should recognize for adoption.
Yes.
Or maybe to the local legislative body, which is the new Windsor Town Council, for adoption, comma, for adoption. Now, it says community meetings and workshops are held to encourage citizen input. We have not had community meetings and workshops to encourage. Do other communities do that?
They, I think some do there. I think there's some type of, some point system or something that goes with having community meetings and outreach, that kind of thing. I don't know the true ins and outs. I think with Hampstead, they sent a survey out, probably a newsletter, when they started their comprehensive plan, and asked feedback and certain things. I don't know if Sykesville did anything, because they adopted theirs last year. Speaking of bridging, ready to start theirs. I came in at the tail end of Manchester, so I'm not really sure if they did anything or not. I do know, at least with Hampstead, I believe they did a survey that was sent out and probably had on their Facebook page, potentially in a newsletter. But there may be some type of point system, I'm not really sure what it is and how it works. After that outreach.
I'm inclined to put something in here, like before acceptance of this comprehensive plan, there will be a community, there will be a community opportunity to comment or.
Well, there will be, right?
Yeah,
It's gonna go out for review for 60 days, that the community can comment on the comprehensive plan before it's adopted. So that opportunity is there, will be there, and we should put that in there. We should take out these words that we're not doing and
Right.
put in what we are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, agree.
So the town will be given the opportunity.
The community, because it doesn't always mean the town.
Correct.
The community will be provided an opportunity to review and
Comment.
Comment.
comment, yeah, that's good.
Review and comment on the town plan,
Prior.
prior to acceptance.
Yes,
So that's important.
prior to final acceptance.
Or adoption, or, yeah.
So we recommend it to the town council for adoption, or should we just leave it there as recommended to the town council for acceptance? And then this would be before adoption. So we recommend
For acceptance.
that the town council accepts it and the community, or is the sequence, no, because once the town council does a piece of paper, and then that's when the 60-day comment period comes, correct?
So
After the resolution.
yes, so we will review and accept that, right? It'll go out for public.
So maybe that's a better word, review. We'll recommend, the town council will review.
And the public comments.
Opportunity for comments from the community.
Then it'll be
And then say
adopted.
before final adoption.
Right.
Yeah.
Michelle can help us with that process if we
Yeah.
have it wrong.
Well, if I know Michelle, I'm sure probably tonight about 11, she'll be looking online to watch this. We'll be expecting that. So my guess is you already caught that, Emily, but the sentence that begins with community meetings and workshops, that sentence gone. And you're going to be, so, okay.
If I want to somehow create some sort of survey monkey or something, then God forbid we want to put something online. I am happy to design.
Thank you for offering that.
I am pondering.
I mean, it comes back up in here, we'll talk about it, but I don't recall in my time that there's been a survey of the community. Do you have any recollection?
No.
Okay. So I think that probably is a reasonable recommendation. Now, when you start talking Survey Monkey, I would challenge, there's not everybody in this room that is familiar with how to access that and do that.
Yeah.
I
We would wind up with like Bodie McBoatface or something, and that would not end well.
And I think that would be a challenge, I think, in general for the
Yeah.
group. But yeah, absolutely, I think that we probably need to do something. But that's something that I think that we'll have to talk about how to make that happen and in what shape. Because not only when you do a survey, then there are results of the survey. And then you gotta do something with how to.
Results, yeah. These are the results, thank you very much, see you.
Thanks for participating.
That's right. It's not a to-do list. Okay. So D, I believe, is the New Windsor Board of Zoning Appeals. It consists of 3 members appointed by the mayor for terms of 3 years each.
In general, comma.
Yeah, oh, yes. I was just gonna say for terms of 3 years each, for 3 years non-concurrent, correct? Because I think that's part of the plan.
Yeah.
That it's every year, there's a,
New one?
yeah, I believe believe that's the way that works. And I don't know where the non-concurrent would go into there. I just know the concept. I don't know if it's 3 years each non-concurrent or I think 3 years non-concurrent would really be confusing, but. The powers of the board are defined in the code of the town of New Windsor. I think I wanted to check this and see. I'll check it, and I think when we get which section. See, this is where I got the idea. I thought it was just one BZA, and that's the Carroll County BZA, but there is a local BZA also. Okay. Any comments on E?
I'm assuming that's the way their process still works and what they do.
So D is the New Windsor Board of Zoning Appeals. The E is the Carroll County Board of Zoning Appeals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think we want to add those words in there. They have at the beginning, this is the Board of Zoning Appeals, and then each section has that, the Board of Zoning Appeals, but I think we need to make that distinction. For Nimrods like me that got confused. Oh, thank God, sorry. Tell the ball game started.
They only gotta win 3.
Oh, no, they're not playing tonight.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right, it's tomorrow, Boston.
and it must be Monday Night Football.
Yeah, tomorrow's Boston for 2 nights, and then it's,
No, tomorrow's Washington.
tomorrow's Washington for 2 nights, and then it's 4 nights at Boston. 4 nights with Boston here,
Tampa has Boston there.
What?
Tampa has Boston.
which is, yeah.
Poor Boston.
They're out of it too, so it doesn't matter.
Boo-hoo.
I'm not upset. The poor Yankees and the poor Red Sox.
I can't believe the Steelers are tied with the Ravens.
Oh, don't talk about that game.
Should be ahead.
That game was horrible.
That is, still be
It was
ahead.
horrible. God.
All right, don't start on that yet.
So the Article 66B thing will change on this
Yes.
to the land use.
Land use,
So Bryce, is there still a Carroll County Subdivision Advisory Committee, the SAC?
That is now called it is what, this should be now the TRC, the Technical Review Committee.
Yeah, I just tried to Google that to see if it still existed. I don't have a signal on
Is
it.
it the Carroll County Technical Review Committee? Okay.
And do they still meet and do the, subdivisions and all that? That's their,
Yeah, the TRC is the first step of whether it's subdivision or site plan process.
okay, perfect. That's what it says. All right. They meet monthly, publicly review all development plans submitted to the county. All right. Perfect. I think those are the three.
And do they use, is it the TRC? Do they have an acronym?
Stands for the Technical Review Committee, so the TRC.
Any idea when they meet?
Well, they met today, so I think it's the fourth Monday of the month.
Okay.
It's been a long time too. So as plans come through, when they get to that stage, I believe it's just the fourth Monday of the month. At 9 a.m.
But of course.
At 6:15 in the morning.
Obviously, it meets the fourth Monday of the month, just like us, as needed. Sorry.
Are we moving on? Media?
I was actually going to ask the question. I was formulating it. So what would go to the TRC is formalized plans that have already been developed, not conceptual plans. They're conceptual, okay?
And they are typically plans that are occurring in the county, not within the corporate boundaries. However, depending on the size of it, I don't know if State or Summit may have been one, if they're larger developments and site plans, there have been times where the towns have asked to do a TRC to get feedback from the county, especially as it comes from stormwater, some of the things that the county does for the towns. It's not all the time, but it has happened recently.
So
So it's pre-concept, so
okay. You know why I'm asking that question, Dave?
Are they just plans that the county will be approving and accepted into their system?
Commenting, not
It's not-
accepting, just commenting on it.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be a plan like Snyder's if that's accepted in the town of New Windsor.
correct, unless
No.
the town came and said we would like for this to go in front of the county TRC and we will utilize this comments, that's correct, you're right. It's one that comes in front of the county for to be built within the outside the local limits, like usually the great.
So if there were somebody to come to us, and it's not within the town limits, the recommendation would be to go to the county for this TRC.
Yeah, they would work, yeah, so they would work with the county's development review and they know the ins and outs, so
Mhm.
pretty much just with, yes, it was in the county, we have, within 1 mile of corporate limits, and we utilize what the towns know, here's what's going on. We send comment letters to Gary, in this case, so the town will be apprised of what's going on within a mile of the corporate limits.
Glenn, have you been through that process?
Yeah, like, we did several developments, like in the Eldersburg area, like, Eldersburg Estates, Piney Ridge Village and all them, they went through the county process because there wasn't a municipality to do that. And actually, when we did those, the SAC was still in thing, because there was one of the checklists that goes through like sediment control, stormwater management, and all this, and then it had a approval box there for the SAC to sign off on. So,
Okay. Media.
I think it's a pretty funny first paragraph.
Yeah.
the whole section is.
Yes, I don't even know what to do with that.
I don't even know what half of them are.
Seems like a big scratch there, and all you can say is we have a newsletter.
I mean,
But the
Facebook page.
newsletter is not bi-monthly, the newsletter is quarterly.
Yeah, it's not bi-monthly. I didn't think it was like, what, bi-monthly? Yeah, okay.
Are there still Gazette newspapers around? I haven't seen any. And
No
I
idea.
think the Annapolis has a Gazette, but I think that's it.
Carroll County Times is the one.
But there's not a Baltimore Sun version for
Yes.
Carroll County.
County edition of Baltimore, yeah, it's not, right. I mean, all those things are like either defunct or changed or not applicable.
It's actually comical because there's a guy that used to be,
Consolidated, that was great.
so we're just gonna roll in that. I think the first sentence, though, residents, there are a variety of sources of information of local events and activities. They have a website, we have a Facebook page, there, and then roll right into, there are numerous television, radio stations, broadcast regional news, and scratch the rest. Oh, I'm sorry, the newsletter.
Newsletter, from
Yeah,
the,
I'm sorry.
from the Carroll County
Oh, so
Times.
Quarterly.
on.
Yes.
Agree.
Just gonna add that there was somebody that used to write for the Carroll County Times, who then went to the Sun, then went to Denver, now he's down in Houston, and it was really interesting hearing him on the radio the other night talking about that journey. Yeah, because he's also digitally savvy, so he has survived. So, so you got it, that sentence, okay. I mean, did it already disappear?
Well, I have the quarterly newsletter, and then I said there are a variety of print, online, and broadcast media sources.
Oh, without even listing them?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, no need to list them. Right.
You do or don't?
No, I don't think you need to list them.
All right. I like it, but, yeah, because, but then it's a whole bunch of questions, are there still the two? Okay, fine. Any objections, Kevin? Michelle will be really happy.
The internet's a growing resource.
Before we get to that, I do think, before you get to that, though, I think it's important to have in here, but since we did strike out about, I don't know, which was it, 24 that is recording this, and then we can go and see these meetings. I think that is an important element to have, that our meetings are normally recorded and are available to be seen and listened to on, you can stream it, you can see it live.
So all New Windsor
Well, the
town council meeting is,
and our meetings are.
yeah.
Yes.
So I think
Yes.
if you're gonna, you don't wanna just mention us, I think we wanna mention the town council as well. Both of them
Yes.
are available through streaming and
Is it the work session as well?
that's why I was asking. I don't know whether work sessions are broadcast or not. I've never looked.
I've never seen one.
Yeah.
I've seen
I think they are.
in the planning commission, but I've never seen a workshop.
I agree. I haven't seen other
I
towns
just always
either.
act as if I'm being recorded.
As a general rule.
So while we were quick to strike that paragraph, I think it's important that we still have,
Something about that.
Yes, that's good.
you can have whatever poetic license you would like to put that in. How's that? 'Cause I believe it's 24, isn't it? Or do we even go by numbers anymore because it's on cable and?
I wanna say it's still
It's
access 20 or whatever.
22, 24, yeah, it
I
is,
think
there
it's
is there is a
24.
channel that it's,
Wait, what? What? Where are we talking now?
Well, it's kind of buried there in the middle of the paragraph that we struck out. That,
Channel 24, CCG 24, a new channel devoted to Carroll County government. It's not really a new channel, it's
Yeah.
just a channel devoted to Carroll County government where simulcasts of our meetings and town council meetings are available. Does that work?
when we had a crisis, was it 18 months ago, 20 months ago, when we had the water main break. I don't really believe that we had any mechanism where the Carroll County media or WTTR or anybody was doing anything. We just were posting on the website, Facebook.
Yeah, and you were knocking on doors.
Yeah, we were around knocking on doors.
Yeah.
yeah, hanging.
So,
I thought we utilized the call centers. There was a call center.
9/11?
Yeah, it's not 911,
Yeah.
but we utilized a phone
Reverse
mechanism to call people. We had that ability. And I don't remember what it's called, but we did utilize that as well
okay.
to get the word out.
I'll ask the communications person that's on the town council. I may see her sometime.
Yeah, you should ask her. She'll know what it is off the top, right?
Okay, okay.
You would think after, since that happened, we would have put something in place moving forward in case something like that happens again. Did they do anything like that? Not that this relates, but.
Looked into several things. We have not implemented one
Yeah,
yet, but
I mean, I think, speaking as somebody that no longer has a landline,
But there's a lot of companies that offer that service, but there's a lot of strings that you can only do so many messages before you get, for $5,000 you get this, and then for every character you put after that, then you have to pay an extra $100 per phone. It's just, so there's a whole bunch of stuff that we've been looking at.
If
Yeah.
there's an interest, I give you some options that won't be like that you can do it with a phone system itself. I don't know who you guys are using for your phone right now, but a general voice over IP phone system should give you the ability to text, and you can build a database out of your town members and send it out for strictly the cost of a text message.
well, I'll tell you one of the difficulties that we've run into, even with the suicide line, is people where the phone lines, where they're calling from and their cell phone, they don't have a cell phone that their phone number is located, they're calling from where they're located. Like my.
Well, no, you wouldn't do it that way. You would set it up so that you could set up something where members of the town can register their cell number to be provided alerts when they occur. And it would be an alert that you would send out for strictly the cost of that text message, which would be billed at a minute rate, not at a text rate. It's just a voice over IP rate. There's plenty of phone systems that do that.
Yeah,
No.
I know Dana was looking into several ways to do
You
that.
guys a couple of years about it, so I don't know if you're looking again, I'm happy to have a chat with Dana to tell her some
Yeah,
systems. I'll reach out to her.
Thank you.
I don't know, we can talk off. This is actually to the county. I don't know if that's something, if they would provide, if they would bring it out to
Hmm.
the actual municipalities or not. That's through our actual, and you sign up that we actually get alerts. for-
Yeah, I think Gary gets these for like the weather.
You may, right?
Yeah, and
So,
then
I
he
think- but in
passes them the-
general, I think a lot of them, you get put your phone number in.
And I would think that's for employees. That's not necessarily for residents of Carroll County, is
I
it?
don't know, I mean, that's for Perry Carroll, which I think actually.
Oh.
I think I believe anybody gets the app, anybody can sign up for, I
Okay.
think.
Hmm, that's pretty
So
neat.
And there may be something on the county website.
Well, we're certainly not unique with that.
No.
My experience, a couple times that I've been part of setting those up, getting people to agree to provide a cell number.
Well, and that's why you have to make it strictly voluntary. You're gonna say, because if people complain about not getting information, well, this is one way you can get it. It's a voluntary thing. We'll provide it to you. If you don't use it, that's up to you. But it's just another avenue to provide the citizens. And I think if we're looking to provide ways, that is something worthwhile looking into. And I don't see it as it's not a major expense for the town at all. It wouldn't be.
Some of them were kind of costly.
Voice over IP phone? No. If you're going to a text system, yes. But you should instead get a phone system that allows you to text for the cost of phone calls. So it's a per minute charge or a per text charge. And it's in the pennies. It's like 0.00, under a penny, or I think they're under a penny a text.
Okay.
So
Yeah, if you reach out to Dana,
I will. I'll call her.
you can tell her that we had this
I'll just say,
conversation.
I
And
understand you're looking again. Talk to me. I'll bug her.
Can we still call it Cablevision?
That's old.
Cablevision.
It sounds funny.
I think we just stripped that whole.
I was gonna say, it's not even Comcast anymore for that matter. It's Xfinity.
All right, straighten that paragraph.
Or do we need to keep that in our Carroll County government posted legal ads in the Carroll County Times?
Well, I think
Yeah,
I feel we're obligated to say something about posting our legal ads.
Yeah.
But where and how we do so is probably something that we'll need Michelle to update.
I believe we still publish them in the Carroll County Times. That's our paper of,
Yeah.
the only paper that we have. So that's where they do get published.
Okay.
I don't think we do meetings anymore through the paper. It's in the newsletter and then it's online, yeah.
And I would say the internet is an incredible resource for information, not a growing one.
Adding words
I
into
will
call.
bite my tongue on exactly what sort of.
What kind of resource it is? You just want to say the internet is a resource?
Properly.
Yeah, not all necessarily true.
But that website is still good.
Yep.
And it does have extensive, you have to be a research analyst to find stuff because it has a lot out there.
And I'm guessing it still has the resource dating back to 2006? probably.
In all likelihood.
Yeah.
The county has two things. The app I showed you, which is Prepare Me Carroll. And it's also, we have something called Sign Up for Carroll Alert. And Carroll Alert pretty much does what you would probably like to have happen when you have the pipe burst. It's a mass notification system in cases of significant hazard. We sign up, these alerts they receive via text, phone calls, or emails instructing the public to shelter in place, evacuate, or be aware of incidents nearby that may have impact on the person receiving the message.
And I think that's what we used.
Yeah,
To
Carroll,
hit-
it's called Carroll Alert.
Yes, I think that's what we used to the people that had signed up that were in this local area.
And that actually notified me of a tornado before Google did.
I get pinged on it, I get some.
We probably want to post things about Carroll Alert on our website, because I don't know whether I've seen it on there.
And that may be, that's one, so Carroll Alert, Prepare Me Carroll are the two.
So maybe that last paragraph there, poses legal ads, additionally notices of upcoming meetings are provided in the newsletter as well as online on the website. And then we'll check, see if it's Carroll Alert that we use, but I think it would make sense that we have that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
I'll verify what that is and let you know.
Okay.
All right. I'll have that answer tonight, I'm sure. Is this the Al Gore internet? You're too young to know what that is.
Come on, you didn't know that?
I read about it in
It's
a
probably like Al Gore.
press.
What?
I think the third paragraph maintains a website and Facebook page with a variety of useful facts, including meeting schedules, contact information.
Do we have a Twitter feed
Does the,
for New Windsor?
let me verify this, and, okay.
Do
Now,
we?
do we want to call it Twitter, or do we want to call it X?
Oh, X, it's X.
Where are you seeing that?
I'm asking if we have one.
Yeah,
We don't.
I wasn't aware that I don't think we do. I'm sure we don't, because if we did, I'd be hearing about it constantly.
I would think that'd be a neat thing to have.
No.
Only if it's put out by somebody, yes, just to put out
No,
community
there is
information.
no, I am on X, and there is no New Windsor, Maryland
Okay,
X account.
so we can create one. Don't look at me, I don't do that stuff, but.
Kevin wants you to go to the town
I am
council.
definitely the wrong person to even suggest that to.
Just go and say you want TikTok. That's what he was going to say.
I'm not saying any of that.
In fact, the only person who has even tagged New Windsor on X is me.
So how long is the history on that? I'm sure others have, but they had to.
Going back through 2019, the only person who has tagged X on, on New Windsor on X is me.
See, there you go.
Yeah, do that there.
I don't know how to, I don't do,
I hardly even know what that means.
I mean, I know what Instagram is, but I can't say I've ever done anything with it. I just kind of laugh.
Something to do with Elon Musk.
I still laugh that people think their lives are so interesting, everybody wants to see it.
I feel the need to strike when community surveys were conducted in 1997. Could be wrong, but I suspect if we did a survey today, not even suspect it is, few people indicated they actually attend any public meetings. But I would think that there is an increase of people that do watch them online. I know several people that tell me they do watch them online. They somehow know how to go find it when it's going to be on, which is pretty cool. But nobody has done that and told me that for the planning commission. It's only the town council meetings.
Oh dear, yes. And can we also strike the following sentence, please?
You sound rather emotional there. You can't even get it out. Which sentence did you want out? About people attending the meetings?
Attended any pubic meetings?
Oh, yeah, yes. Who proofed this? Spell check's not gonna catch that.
Well, there were,
I
That's
didn't
'cause
catch
they
it.
were
I just read right over it.
there were not a lot of those pubic meetings.
Where's Michelle when you need her?
That's great. That's classic.
So they didn't readily admit.
I would say, and these meetings are broadcasted, right?
Yep. And are now broadcast on cable public viewing on a regular basis, both live and repeated.
Yes.
Live and
Or on demand, yes.
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 Okay, there we go, live and
And
on
on
demand.
demand, let's use the vernacular.
On demand, yes.
Of course, I guess streaming would be more the vernacular than on demand now.
Nah. No, not everybody streams.
But that's basically what on demand is.
It doesn't say that on.
But I understand, but it is.
Gosh. So we're striking about, that sentence about community surveys and about the special kind of meetings,
Yes.
but meeting agendas are posted and often printed.
Yes, leave that, I would think.
Local newspapers, I don't
No.
think that's true.
No.
On the website. Or, did we put the agenda?
They're posted. Public
Okay.
meetings and agendas are posted.
And often printed, yeah, are posted
Are posted.
on the website.
On the website.
Yeah.
Or on the internet.
These meetings are broadcast on cable television for public viewing on a regular basis, live and on demand or whatever. Yep.
And I would not use that next sentence. I don't think these
Correct.
conditions lead to a lack of involvement, they actually make it easier. Though whether that leads to more involvement doesn't necessarily translate.
Could be. History shows that most people will not participate in meetings or other public unless they feel directly and significantly impacted.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, it's the second paragraph under the analysis of community needs, begins with although. We're striking the first part of that. What did you want?
I would say that these conditions actually make it easier for community or citizen involvement.
Oh, so you're
But then
making-
include the reality is that most people will not participate unless they feel directly. I mean, I think that sentence is accurate. I just think the beginning is wrong.
But these conditions are intended to facilitate citizen involvement. But but historically, most people will not participate.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm just laughing. Yeah, I'm laughing at it because it's very true.
Wait till the construction really hits town. One day he's gonna be earning the big bucks on the town council one day.
When they put the Walmart in next to the,
No, when they start tearing up out here on 31.
I didn't know that was happening.
That's right, nobody told me.
they're tearing up 31. I didn't know that either. Where?
You being funny? The Main Street project?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Water line replacement?
It's gonna be interesting. When does that start?
It has.
It has. It's just not as visible.
I was gonna say, I haven't really seen any road closures yet.
There's
Not been
ink on the
anywhere.
ground. They've started up some in Springdale, some.
Yes, they had to put in valves to close things off, so there was insertion valves that had to be placed. There were some long lead items that
Oh,
pushed
yes.
us back.
Oh, I can only imagine long lead items. Lots of those.
I feel like that sentence about talking about how long it takes to review the plan is accurate, but I suggest striking momentum build up in the initial phase is lost. Just end it with one major impediment to overcoming the apathy associated with the planning process is the length of time taken to produce the plans.
I agree. Because I don't think you wanna get saying 6 months, it could take longer, it could take less, it's,
So, I think we could have a discussion about recommended actions on this. But I think the reality is that we can talk about making this shorter, maybe taking bite-sized pieces of this every couple of years so that it's not the whole plan, but we don't get any involvement except for people that have to be here.
yeah.
So, and I would think, well, no, I guess that maybe the larger communities, you might get some citizen involvement, maybe like some of the developers will come
Typically,
Yeah.
that aspect.
when you've got growth. Yeah, okay.
When we did the last plan, we went out to the communities, the senior centers in different parts of the county and did not receive feedback and all that aspect, but yeah, usually in the bigger areas, I think you're right, developers are the one that probably will have more input than the citizens, and then you'll hear it from the citizens after the fact when something goes on.
Right, they don't like it.
Yeah.
In fairness, Randolph, you have some experience with this in the county. Would it be of some benefit that when we're finished this, to then have a session where you came, maybe you chatted with us about?
Thank you.
Okay, plan's done. Put it aside for another 10 years until you look at it again. or this is what, some examples of what you've seen in some of the other communities, and some suggestions of,
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, obviously, and I think we've talked about before, you know, not only, you don't wanna make a plan and then just put it on the shelf for 10 years, and you wanna implement the plan. This is your roadmap for the next 10 years, potentially leading on. So, yeah, I mean, it took the county forever, but we implemented our 2014 plan. Obviously, one of the big steps for implementation is any zoning changes or code changes that come about with this plan. So yeah, implementation is a big piece of this. You don't wanna sit it on the shelf. You wanna make sure, and that's where, even though Gary didn't look at it, but we also look at it when new developments come through with the site plans or housing developments, make sure it's consistent with the plan that, with what the goals and foresight is, and big miles of birds just come in and it's something that is not consistent with what, they wanted to put it in the heart of downtown, but the heart of downtown is not what the plan.
we don't have anywhere in here where we're talking about major changes, growth. So the likelihood of any of those examples, but is one example I know we talked about a couple years ago was about Airbnb. We've talked about, there was something else along that line. About microbreweries. We had some discussions about that. So discussions about tweaking that we might want to do, and more is it, what does the code allow or not allow versus actually the plan, because there's really no indication that we're soliciting growth or that we have the room for growth.
Right.
And there doesn't seem to be any movement anywhere, and we don't have any developers or anybody coming in with other ideas. So this is somewhat of a relatively stagnant plan, but we could still learn from what I think some others may have done, or maybe not. I don't know. I mean, I would think Union Bridge might be similar to us. They're kind of locked, I think, with a lot of the ag preservation also, and of course they have a quarry, blocking a lot of it.
And I know Red Hawk, as you speak, probably wants to get moving more.
Yes.
Because he is
Sure.
helping with that one. We'll be helping out. They also have Ned Kuma, who's actually a consultant for the town. And I will be doing a lot of it. So we'll be working with them. But yeah, I mean, sort of, I think the overall thought process for a comprehensive plan is not to do it just off the box, and throw it on the shelf. And then 10 years later, oh yeah, we'll back out and do it again. It's sort of, even though it may be static and, you still, where you see the town and where it is today, it's fine to see that 10 years from now. Just make sure that the town's on pace to just, if they want, if they want to stay a small town, I don't know, I think Hampton, that was one of their major goals. Manchester's one of theirs too. Obviously, they're bigger than New Windsor, but that was their thought process. So they want to make sure their plan reflected a small town feel, and as they, whatever kind of growth it may be, whether it's large or small.
Is there a list, or who could I talk to get a list of who the planning commission chairs are in the jurisdictions in Carroll County that I could reach out to?
I don't think a list per se, but I'm sure we could get,
Or maybe there's somebody you could,
I think we could probably get something made up of, talking about different liaisons and who the chairs, the commissions are.
because there was a guy at the Maryland Planning Commission Association, Steve Allen, not the comedian, you may be the only one, but, I chatted about that with him, and I remember he was going to do something that not only helped me with the Carroll County, but also others, and nothing ever happened from that, and I don't know where he ever went. And I know there's somebody down in Mount Airy who was a professional planner that was their planning commission chair, and oh my God, he wanted to make this much bigger. But I think that would be helpful, and then we could have a chat about how we may want to interact with a couple of the others. But that would be steps down the road, okay? So, sorry I deviated there. All right, so we're up to recommended actions. Frankly, I like the idea of a survey. I just know the complications that come from getting results of a survey, because they often tend to be gripe sessions.
Yeah.
And how you then deal with them. But
Well, if you worded correctly so that you could just get answers as opposed to opinions.
there are professionals that do surveys to help with that, but it's pretty nebulous to say periodically to ensure the desires of the residents. But I think that is a very worthwhile exercise for community involvement, but, that has challenges that comes with doing that.
I think it would be interesting if the town as a whole, not necessarily the planning commission, but the town put together a survey at some point, especially with the build out of Snyder Summit. Now that we have a whole different bunch of people that live here that we don't know yet, and the development that Dave lives in is complete, and then we have our two older developments, and then we have this old downtown. It would be interesting for the town to put out a very pointed kind of survey to see the kind of results, the kind of things, because I think we would get some very disparate information back, but there would need to be buy-in from the town to do that survey, because again, as we just talked about, people don't want to survey and then nothing,
You have to interpret the results and publish them.
There's got to be something that we want to see come out of that survey, and that could have a cost associated with doing that. That I don't know. It would be interesting though, for sure.
Well, how about as a recommendation that we work with the town?
Certainly a fair recommendation to put in there. Yes.
I'm sorry, Emily, and
Well, I was gonna say it would have to be, I would say it would have to be very well designed.
yes. Yes.
To be sure that you were asking.
You mean you don't want to just say, what would you like the town to do?
Well, to ensure that you were asking, you knew what questions you were
Looking for answers to.
asking, and that you were asking them in a way that you were getting the right answers.
Well, it's not an open-ended survey.
Right.
Yes.
It's a targeted survey, and I'm not sure. It requires
Yeah.
more heads than us
Yeah.
to
Right.
put that together, and
Yeah, you
Yes.
want to work with somebody like Hopkins or even a consultant company.
Agree, and I think
Yeah.
even one step before that is we have to come up with what we want to survey for.
Yes.
What are we looking for? We're just not looking for ideas for parks or we need to zone in on something and
well, I think
know
we
what
need
that
to
is.
somewhat kind of lead where we're going about talking, have some bullet points in there about our infrastructure, some bullet points in there about we have these parks, we have these pieces of property that are in the town. And, I keep coming back to the thing, did you know that, 90% of the area around us is in land preservation or we got a quarry? Did you know that, we're operating 87% capacity with our whatever, with the waste treatment plant? But have some information that's in there that's already hitting some of that and then talking about, to me, it is kind of, in my head, it's open-ended, like, it really, what could we do? What, are we meeting what you would like us, but we get all kinds of
Well,
stuff
that's
back.
you can't just ask that question like that. You've got to relate it to something and kind of trying to, because otherwise you're not going to have anybody talking about if you want a consensus on certain topics, you want to float them to those
Yeah,
topics.
but this, Dave just said, I think is a really good point. Did you know that we have, X number of units in a new, development that's just to finish the build out? That Reserve has been here now, what, 10 years?
Oh, the reserve. Oh,
Since it started,
yeah.
but, that it's not
Yeah.
a new, and Snyder, Atlee Ridge is, 25 years or whatever. But that we have 4 distinct communities, or 5 if you talk about town center. And, but again, there are professionals that can help with that. And I think that the people from University of Maryland that came a couple of years ago that helped with something like that. This is the kind of stuff Neil probably has some idea of somebody that might be able to help us with that can help target it and not be as expensive. And I know Kim has done surveys.
Well, and you mentioned University of Maryland. I would try to talk or tie it into local, to McDaniel or.
Yeah.
I mean, something like that.
Yes,
If you,
yes.
to tie, give them a reason, because it's Carroll County.
Right. And I don't even remember what the program was, but there was somebody that had a course, and they had students come out here, and we essentially got free plans that were drawn for, I always call it the Ripken Lagoon over here. Because it's no longer a lagoon, and it's no longer Ripken. Yeah, but, yeah. So, but, we have nice plans that are drawn up, and that's great, but.
How do you get it out to people? Is it online or is it mailed? Is somebody going door to door?
Or the survey?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that's something we certainly have to talk about now.
Yeah, I think yes.
That would be,
I think yes.
All those.
We still don't have all the signatures.
Like a census
for the
in a
Main Street
sense.
project. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's going to be a challenge, how you get it out, and you're still only gonna get X number percentage that's gonna reply.
that's my other question. What are you expecting, 10% response?
Ooh, that'd be pretty good.
That'd
That'd be really good.
I know, is that? is
You
it
could
worth
go
it?
through the
Is it worth-
association at the reserve, it'd be easy.
Oh, yeah, for that group, yeah.
Absolutely, it would
Is there
be,
a
absolutely.
homeowner association in your development?
No, we don't have a homeowner association.
But that would be easy.
Yeah.
But I don't know about
You're
state.
organized, right.
I mean, we
organized.
get it out like that, everybody would be covered.
Those that wanted to be covered,
Well, what I mean
Or
is
participate,
the information
sure.
and the fact that you have a survey, and then you have this basis of information
Mhm.
that the questions are gonna be built on, correct?
Yeah,
Okay, well, that would be done quickly out at the reserve, I mean,
which then raises another issue, because if you have and if you have an organized group, and that's a certain demographic of this town, which is not the same as Center Town or Atlee Ridge, or, these guys.
Wait a minute, these guys.
exactly.
Actually,
But it is, it's a
That's
whole
the
different
reality.
flavor.
Yeah, that's the
Yes, it
reality.
is. And it's just like with voting, a certain demographic votes
Yeah.
more than others.
Yeah.
But, so we would want to have, but yes, all of those factors, and yes, how do we get to them? Yeah, but I'm an advocate for doing a survey. It's 8:00. I was hoping to finish this section, but I would rather not roll through it since we are at the recommendation. So how about if we stop here on 152? And then the last section that we have in here, chapter 14, is really a lot of stats coming from census stuff. So we're gonna probably need some help. Could I ask you to take a look, and I think I saw you had a copy of the plan. So it's chapter 14, housing and community design. If you could maybe look at this and come next month when we talk about whether you'll be able to provide any of this information that's in here. You know, it's about, you know, it's primarily, this was working off the 2000 census when this one was put together. Yeah.
We'll do the best we can.
Yeah, exactly. To me, that's the first blush is, yeah, we can probably get this, or no.
Yeah, for some reason, I think I mentioned this before, for whatever reason, when it comes to this small town data for the census, there's an issue that the data we're able to see, I think anybody, even citizens, on the small town level, it doesn't populate. Cause I believe, actually, I went to look and I typed in New Windsor, and it just gave me like the state stats. It would even, and then I typed in Westminster, and all the data came up, so it's not, for whatever reason, small town data. does
Okay.
not-
But that will help us,
Yeah.
if you can look at that, because like we have one here, and these are all got a note on it, got from Carroll County Planning Department. So if there is anything that you're gonna be able to help us with, because that'll help us craft what we do with that chapter.
Yeah.
It's all revolving around
The
that.
resilient aspects of it.
And,
Percentages.
on land,
Yes.
it's the end of a quarter, if maybe you could
Okay.
put something, send it to me, that would be good. Announcements, Music on the Main is coming up.
Very fast.
I just found out I gotta go to Boston for a wedding. I'm really disappointed. I like Music on the Main. It was so much fun last year.
People get married all the time, can't
I said
they?
the same thing. I said, they're not even related to me. Why do I have to go? Yeah. They're not related to her either. It's friends of my daughter, but
Our
still.
next meeting is the Monday after Thanksgiving.
October.
I'm sorry, because I made a note on here. That what's on the agenda said the next meeting is the 30th, but it's the 23rd.
Yeah, okay,
So,
23rd.
23rd of October.
Yeah, of October. But the next meeting after that is the Monday after Thanksgiving. And then going further, it's Christmas Day. So I am proposing that we
Merry
just
Christmas,
don't plan on
everyone.
Christmas. And
Oh, come on.
but we could have 2 more meetings and be through this. And what I was then going to ask if Emily Ann could get something to us, because we won't meet in December.
Okay,
So that maybe like sometime, because I really think that the November meeting, we're not gonna really have a lot, but if you could get something to us that you could send to us so that we could start looking at, you know, what you have, because we're gonna need some time to go through.
okay,
And then we'll have a January meeting, we can kind of talk about the bigger picture there. And then we'll help fill in gaps and whatever. But I think it's reasonable that by the spring, we should be able to
Wrap this.
set this up and then start looking at the code.
absolutely. And depending on what happens this weekend, I may have a whole lot of time in October.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, there was a holiday party last year, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm thinking that there will be another one this year since it's not as COVID bad. And that's normally the first or second Saturday of December. But I know the person who came up with the place last year, and she hasn't started working on that yet. So I don't know if anything's happening with that. I was gonna ask Drew if there's anything with the fire hall coming up, but no. Oh, by the way, the thing in December, you went because you were shaking your head, right?
I went.
And you went.
It was great.
Did you go?
No.
No, you didn't?
No.
Did you go last year? I know you've been to them, right?
Yes.
The holiday party, because they're really nice.
The story, because we get told stories about the town that even though I've lived here for 20 years, I had no idea some of the stories. And It's a good town history, great to talk to people, it's really nice.
It's kind of hokey that,
Yes, but that's small town, that's what kind of, to me, makes it so cool.
Neil has lived here forever, so he has all kind, he loves to trick us and laugh at us when we don't have the answer. Okay, tree lighting will be on the first Monday of December. The first Wednesday of December, the 6th, which is a nice thing to have. I already asked you, let's see, nothing else. I don't know anything in the fire hall. Anybody go to the crab feast? I couldn't get tickets, so I was wondering. And again, the music on the main, you both are invited. It's actually, it's not a bad affair.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and we have really good music.
Yes.
Those reggae guys, I know they're coming back.
Coming back.
I actually enjoy it more in the fire hall than I did
I
outside.
did too.
Yeah.
I did too, and I like the rain outside. It was a nice atmosphere.
I love it out on the street.
Yeah.
I think it's fun closing that street down.
Well, I missed the seafood person from the first year who had all this leftover shrimp at the end. You were getting like $3 for a pound. It's worth coming for the guy that does the pit meat.
Yep.
He's a local guy. He's got his own, I don't know, like 40 slabs of meat. The turkey, it melts in your mouth, and the ham and the beef. But the ladies with the fish fry in the corner. The cover guy's not coming, right? But we've got the reggae group, Dempsey and,
Dempsey's not coming.
oh, they're not, okay. Let's see, so I got nothing else, okay. Anybody got any other announcements? So I kept you over, you're not gonna get paid overtime, so.
Oh, wait a minute. Time and a half.
Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So be it.